being a medium v medium, it does result in us having the Sorlag scale bearer to finish us off.
Yeah. But,
which depends whether or not we see that or not. Have to get to a 5th map. Both players, I'm sure, will just be aiming to take this in a clean 3-0 fashion.
Yeah. But, yeah. So going into this, Dan's... it's FraZe's map first. And Dan's a bit of an underdog here.
Yeah, but let's say FraZe coming out on top during the group stage. But yeah, it's not a. I don't think there was a clear set winner to this match, right? Like,
yeah,
both these players have shown.
These are great. They've both
shown their potential, and we've seen them both take maps off each other, winning tournaments against each other. So I think this. Honestly, I'm leaning towards FraZe here. I think just the Ranger works better for Awoken, and I know FraZe. He's just been putting in the work. You know, he wants to. He wants to take this. He wants to defend that title.
And we're gonna get started on first map. Dan on the Visor, FraZe on the Ranger. It's FraZe's map pick. And with these champs, I think we're gonna see a lot of frags.
Yeah, I think Dan's gonna probably play in a bit more of a sort of rail style, which is definitely what he enjoys, right? He's fantastic rail. Like all these top 4, we've seen it. We saw it prior with steej versus Cam. The aim of these players is just incredible, right? Top tier, you know, they're up there with any of the pros you see playing the QPL. And Vibes is just going to enhance the ability to do that anyway.
What do you want to start on?
So looking at predictions here over in chat, we've got a 73% favourites towards FraZe to take this map.
I'm on FraZe.
Chat is following FraZe. Let's start off FraZe. Let's see what he can do.
Gotta find another.
And we see.
Opted in here to go straight into Mega and just playing around here trying to hear the sound. Yeah, see what Dan's up to. He gets that rail spawn.
But he doesn't have any weapons left. He's just picked up an armor, but Dan has both rockets and rail. He's gonna be able to grab LG while FraZe only has the railgun right now. But
yeah,
nice read.
In the fight here. Yeah, good initial shot though coming from FraZe. Dan returning one, and Dan's got the weapon to fight this while FraZe doesn't.
But I don't think
pushing
Dan
like he does.
There's
LG coming up.
Great rails from
Just
FraZe.
the rails, yeah.
The orb used though, which is pretty big for Dan honestly, as FraZe just has to restack and he won't be able to contest heavy at all. And in fact he's lost out on Mega as well. Takes a big rocket. FraZe should have a great shot.
Yeah, Dan punishing that. FraZe getting himself caught in that side of the room there. No way out of that, and here comes Sight. FraZe with the rocket so strong, and great stop the shotty as well there.
And that really should have been his fight. He had Sight, he had the weapon advantage, and he just sort of cakes it.
Yeah, not impressed with that frag there, but FraZe can just stand in the open here, and Dan not going to miss rails like that. It's, I don't know if FraZe standing there. It's a bit of a misplay from him, and Dan trying to just push straight in. Great rocket jump up. FraZe though with the shot, he almost gets that frag, and Dan surviving. Next to nothing.
Nice rail from Dan though, and it's gonna give FraZe some trouble.
Dan was actually expecting FraZe to have rockets there, so this might actually be a kill here. But using Sight as he goes up, rail in hand, confident he's gonna hit that shot, and yeah, that's fair enough. And he takes the frag. And
one thing Dan's gonna worry about it. He's not gonna have enough time to get to that Mega, and he's also almost out of ammo on both rockets and rail. And yeah, he's heading over to railgun now. Only a few rockets, but he's going anyway. Great movement to jump there, but amazing tri-bot from FraZe. And even though he hits that rail, FraZe managed to get the kill and survive.
He's not stacked here, and with still a fair bit of time for each of these items. Dan doesn't have Sight, and FraZe does have Orb, so
I mean,
still sort of a great tri-bolt, forces Dan back.
And Dan really wants this heavy, but he's not. Knife player's gonna be able to shouldn't be able to get both items here. And yeah, the starting machine gun almost killing FraZe there. Wouldn't be able to do that with a shotgun. And FraZe so low here. His only advantage is having that railgun, but he's just forced to back off. Dan's gonna have all the weapons now, and FraZe not looking good and waiting for this next fight.
Yeah, FraZe has got to try and find some way back in this map here. It's Dan running around with control, and FraZe still just sort of fending off on these outsides. He gets up to T, which does get him that 100-100. Picks up that 50 shot, and Mega now as well. So there we go. He's done a good job to avoid taking fights there, avoid taking damage, and finally, he gets over here to Rockets as well. He has this full arsenal.
Yeah. No one's been able to get full control of this map yet. The Mega and Heavy have just been so close the entire time. And players just sort of feeling each other out here, waiting for someone to make a mistake. FraZe looking for a bit of damage on Heavy. He's not exactly sure, but Dan's going aggressive on Mega.
They had sight up for that shot. FraZe might be able to read that, and potentially Dan just going to come through here and steal both these items, hitting another rail, and oh, the missed rocket jump.
But Dan's
this should be a kill if Dan FraZe hitting the rail. Dan, he still wants to fight this. And the missed rail, Rocket's coming out, shotgun switch in with the orb, and wow, FraZe in no way probably should live there, but great defensive Rockets flying down around. Wasn't able to connect with his shots, and then great switch to the shotty, and
yeah, there was a bit of an issue of weapon choice going around that corner with rail, and then oh, nice rails from both players low. Oh, FraZe goes for the safer weapon switch, but it takes him more time to switch weapon, and that gives Dan the kill.
Yeah, I think Dan just took the gamble there. He knew that if he swaps weapons that, you know, it's a 50-50, but if he takes that shot, he might be able to take it. Rocket jumping up, LG out
rocket
from FraZe,
jumps a fail.
forces him back in,
FraZe
hits it on a rail! Dan, he's just hitting crazy shots right now and leaving FraZe on next to nothing, and he's potentially even going to be able to push in here moments before the Mega.
Yeah.
FraZe will save to take it, but Dan, after that first shot, he's just going to push this. FraZe is so low, and the rail's not connecting, and Dan...
FraZe just, I don't think he was ready for Dan to keep chasing there, had his back turn and just ate a ton of starting machine gun. And we're just having a neck and neck game. But this is the first time for a while that the items have actually been spread apart. Dan, he's got good position here. He doesn't have LG, so he can't just stand on Mega. Great rocket, both players low. And a great rail from FraZe. Dan railable, and he can't even jump up to that armor on Heavy. And nice shot by both players low. FraZe gets the kill with the rail, 3 HP, but this should give Dan Heavy if he realizes.
Yeah, there's no way FraZe won't push in here on such a little stack, especially knowing that Dan gets the spawn via side of rail, and he's seen how good that rail's been. Doesn't want to take that fight until he gets stack. Just listening out.
Doesn't have LG here. FraZe just trying to defend, but great shots from Dan.
Great zoning Rockets too. Prevents FraZe from even getting near that Mega. If he wants to push in, he's going to take a full direct, and he did not have the stack for that. Sight comes out. Going to be ready for the shot. Actually misses, and FraZe takes a couple of spam rockets. Need to connect, and this gives FraZe Dan the chance. Pushes in with LG. FraZe 1 HP. Rockets not doing anything, and even the spawn rail immediately.
And yeah, FraZe just hanging around too long there. Eats all damage, and he's trying to fight off spawn, then a suicide, and Dan's looking great here. He's got time to get this Mega. He's got all the weapons, and hits another rail as FraZe stuck without a railgun. Oh, and he's caught out again. Great read, fake out the drop, and another kill for Dan.
Hey, Dan's really showing up for this this set here. Being great, and wow, with the sight, hits the rocket, the LG, and the rail as well. The little bounce up from FraZe's rocket actually gives him the vision to see him. And 10 frags now for Dan.
Yeah. Oh, another great
56% rail. Dan's not missing, and what a prediction! The direct rocket, FraZe just walking straight into it.
And yeah, for the last few minutes, this has just 100% been Dan's game. He's gotten full control. He seems to know exactly where FraZe is going. Hits another rail. And FraZe is just struggling. He can't get anything here.
He almost looks a bit lost right now. And it's like, how do you play against this when Dan's hitting so much damage? And again, another rail, and FraZe just kind of got to get out there. Mega, he doesn't know the timing for it. Dan ready for it. Yeah. And look at that.
That was a great weapon choice to kill with LG as well. The only problem here is Dan doesn't have any railgun, but it doesn't matter as FraZe takes a rocket fight, gets pretty much no damage with orb, and Dan's just looking great. But he doesn't grab the railgun ammo there, maybe a slight mistake, but he's got plenty of time to head over this Mega.
Well, actually opting to go to low ground, catches FraZe out. Beautiful LG, got on the jump pad, FraZe hitting a direct, followed by a second midi, style points for FraZe. Yeah. He's got to be happy with that at least.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the only way FraZe is getting back in, doing something miraculous like that. But good spam rocket by Dan. FraZe not able to connect much damage. He does have that weapon advantage. But Dan just safely back off, and it looks like he's going to try and contest this mega. FraZe coming to T. He's in a lot
now as well.
He's up to jump as well. 9
Comes
HP.
out, doesn't take it. What a rail though. Both players 1 HP, and yeah, FraZe tries to peek back into that. Only 2 HP on the side of Dan there, and FraZe just tries to peek it, but that's that starting machine gun. He was just able to spam it to that corner. As soon as FraZe peeks it, 1 bullet's all it took. Now the fight for this mega here.
And
Rail
sight
on
comes
with
out,
Dan.
and this should be a frag for Dan. But oh, he's missed a couple of rails of sight, and he should die here. And wow, FraZe gets that frag pretty cleanly and heavy. And what a rail!
Hit the corner of his toe there, and he might get another frag here. But I think with the time that we've got left, nice rail too. But Dan with the LG, which is so strong. I just don't see there being any way. Dan has to try to throw this match pretty much if FraZe wants to win. And there we go. After that one.
There's no chance, FraZe. And
that'll be a GG there for Dan.
we saw a really tight matchup for like 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and then Dan just decided, fuck it, he's just gonna win.
Yeah, he just started hitting everything and taking all these rail battles, and well, this is not exactly what he's been doing most of the game. Normally he'd be hitting those.
Yeah. But
you know, he can just relax now. He knows what sight coming out.
Yeah. FraZe really he didn't know what to do when Dan was in control, just sort of struggling off spawn, and the only time he did come back in is when he hit 2 middies up a jump pad. And you can't rely on that to get you.
And that's going to be a situation that Dan's not going to put himself in if he's at risk of losing, right? Like he's not going to. He's going there just to get a couple of extra kills just because he can. Starting shot, he comes out. Not enough. 9 HP on Dan.
And I say, we've seen the starting machine gun do Dan so well compared to the starting shotgun this map. Just
even
able
in
to
the
finish
previous set, just like bringing back that starting shotty, there was a few times there where maybe this new nerf to the starting shotty has pushed it out again now. Maybe like there's a few times where I think starting machine gun would have done cammma really good against steej, but it just didn't connect with the damage he wanted.
Yeah. But Dan taking that first map pretty convincingly, 16-9, and that's on FraZe's map pick as well, and with what I honestly think is the champ disadvantage for Dan. So I think Dan will be very happy with that. And
yeah, it's a great first map for him to take, and I think FraZe now realizes what sort of Dan he's going to be up against today. It's going to be the strongest Dan there is, and he wants to win this. He wants to get into the grand final. He doesn't want to have to go fight through the lowers bracket, because if the loser of this is going to go down and play steej, which is that's a coin flip again who wins that, to then come back up to the upper bracket to then have to win 2 BO5s. So getting into winning this set is really, really important for both these players. Showing what he's going to bring today. Now we're going to move on to Blood Covenant, where we see both of the lights coming out.
Yeah.
Dan with the slash, FraZe with the anarchy.
And yep, I definitely favour the slash in this matchup. While anarchy has the speed advantage against most champs, it's nothing against the slash.
Yeah, and with the slash movement, she can jump across all these higher areas on Blood Cov, ensuring that she keeps the high ground control in timeout, which is great when it comes to trying to control that rail, keep it away from your opponent. And obviously, because I believe that's the only ammo for the rail as well on that map too, so...
Yeah. So, rail control is going to be a lot easier for Dan to keep than FraZe. And we saw that. I mean, both players were hitting pretty good rails, but Dan was definitely doing a bit better.
Yeah, I think this map is going to come down to trying to control the rail. FraZe definitely was going to want to try and keep it out of Dan's hands. It seems like players are ready to go.
Yeah.
The predictions are up for Blood Cup. Let's see how it's swung since, let's say, FraZe was the 76% favorite, I believe, and so far Dan, 100% favorite to win this map from the chat's perspective. After seeing what he was bringing today, and I don't blame him for feeling that way. That was a very, very scary side of Dan.
Yeah, considering the last
map,
map,
the finals.
Considering the last map was FraZe's map pick, and but the better champ for FraZe, and we're seeing the complete reverse here. Yeah, Dan definitely the favorite on this map.
There we go. We're getting a few more predictions. We're sitting at a split 50-50 right now.
Prepare to fight.
So FraZe is really good on this anarchy here, and yeah, he's got great movement, so he will definitely be able to try and keep up with Dan a bit here. Anyway, let's start on FraZe. Let's see what he can do here.
Fight.
See, regular
One
start.
down.
Oh, he's going for the small armor first. I like that. Let's say, while starting shotgun definitely has its advantages on some maps. This is one I'd definitely go machine gun.
Yeah,
But
such
he
a
does-
big open
yeah.
map. There's not many situations where you're going to want to be shooting, but maybe FraZe wants to try and get in, take some closer range battles here.
Instantly,
Gets over, takes rail, but yeah, Dan takes the first shot. And the second one from Dan, FraZe is falling, and that's pretty now it's railable, and wow, Dan, he's connecting with everything right now. This is crazy.
What a shot.
Another rail.
Yeah.
Mega has been delayed a little bit, and so that does actually allow FraZe to get over the other side, but Dan actually going to catch FraZe off. Rocket jumping up top, trying to
Gotta
get
be
that
careful here.
trail
To
comes
make
out.
sure FraZe doesn't spawn at quad, but he's quick enough. And Dan is looking great. 2 frags already, just hitting literally all his rails. Oh, and great read from
Good
Dan.
rockets. The shotgun from FraZe doing good damage actually, but just in that situation, you know, rockets are going to win 100 times out of 100, and FraZe might actually be able to force Dan off here. Just going to go for this rail, not connecting. Nice for FraZe to be able to steal that away.
Yeah, and he's actually attacking this Mega, which just eats a rocket for his trouble.
Yeah, maybe a bit too aggressive trying to push through there.
Yeah,
Just
too
a bit
much
too loud,
noise.
and Dan just, yeah, he was able to just read that so well. Direct rocket FraZe though.
Oh.
As we say that, great shots from him. Dan does return one, which might just save his life. FraZe can't be peeking this. He's
Both
actually going
players
to have the aggression, and he does. Both players railable there, but it's FraZe who connects with the important shot, gets the frag.
Dan's got to be careful defending his Mega, but FraZe a bit slow.
FraZe just didn't have the weapons right now to fight. Like, he didn't have rocket ammo till then. He was purely just going off that rail. No LG yet either. Catches Dan out here. Machine gun. Putting in work though, and Dan just being so hard to hit. And FraZe, he does get it in the end, but the amount of damage that Dan did in that fight was... Inject is back up, which would be big for FraZe. Probably should pop this here, because now that Dan's got rail, gets the heavy.
Great round from both players. FraZe use that inject to make sure he doesn't die in the next one. But he's going to be in trouble as he can't get up to his Mega. But hits in a great defensive rail. But Dan hits on him as well. They're going up, FraZe going up the
Just
jump,
push in here.
available, and pushes in to get the frag. Wow.
And that shot, he hitting 50 damage. That was pretty nice and pretty light. I think it was a bit lucky there for him. Dan does know, however, FraZe is not healthy and can't really be hanging around with this heavy. Again, he's going to just back off here. Allow it to go to Dan, and I don't think Dan's going to be able to make it here in time to contest. He might be able to try and get some exit damage, but he's just hanging around by rockets here, and peeking just in time, just as FraZe drops. Gets a free rail.
Yeah, but FraZe actually returns one after that. Very nice shot.
And he gets inject back up as well, which is big for him right now. On the right angle, but not expecting the speed there to come in from Dan.
Yeah. I'm gonna pretend that
inject
Dan
comes
had
out.
that slash explosion, trail explosion to disguise his jump across.
They definitely did. And then here comes the rail battle. There we go. FraZe takes the first one. This is a good shot from him.
But Dan could actually get there faster. But Dan chooses to go rocket route to just get some damage. But nice rail from both players. And yeah, FraZe finishes them off. Just a bit more
There we go, that's
stack.
FraZe in the lead as well. So far, this inject's actually been working out quite well for FraZe. Numerous times it's put him above that railable state where it's just that really dangerous, which allows you to go for that extra peak, try and get that little bit more damage. Dan just flying straight through. FraZe, I don't think ready for him to drop straight down. Rail's coming out. Good weapon swap from FraZe. That was fantastic. Dan misses his rail. FraZe takes his advantage, pushes in with LG. Cleans it up, but Dan waiting here for this item, and again, this starting machine gun doing so much work. FraZe decides to drop on him, and this could be a mistake. The rockets, though, are so good.
Yeah. FraZe knew that Optimal was going to be down for him, and able to finish off Dan. Oh, missed rail from Dan. FraZe just wasn't ready for it at all. But he's gotten so much more damage in this fight as Dan really hasn't been able to do much at all.
Dan's still peeking. He's no longer railable, but FraZe
holding on his rail for so long, but not able to fish out. But what a shot there! Both players super low, but Dan should be able to get this mega. And FraZe, I don't think he can really contest.
He actually does go in for the rail, but yeah, such a dangerous play to make.
Yeah.
Like your opponent, his rail has been so good. You do get one shot, but it doesn't mean too much. Now you get caught here off spawn. Does hit that rail. That might be enough to save his life, and he hits the second one as well, fading away.
Wow.
22 HP. If he misses that, that was a guaranteed frag there for Dan, and preventing Dan here from trying to just take control, just preventing him from getting the lead. This is really good from FraZe. He needs to keep doing this. He can't let Dan get in control. And another great rail jump. He's got time. If he misses this shot, Dan will get mega now.
Yeah, and
again,
no machine gun means FraZe has to go for the rails there. Well, Dan's just peppering away, but too close. But wow. Amazing shot from FraZe, just going for that TP, hitting it somehow. But
he knows that Dan doesn't have rail in that situation, so it's safe for him to peek it. And wow, he's still just peeking, even though, Dan, he's just sitting there with machine gun. 20 HP, and again, another situation where having a machine gun there probably would have really helped FraZe out, but that being said, he got down so low that Dan just can't really fight in. Uncharacteristic miss, and FraZe now with a really nice, healthy stack. Picking up those vials as well means inject will be up momentarily.
But Dan's got that railgun, and FraZe has basically no weapons at the moment. That's going to be Dan's big advantage, and he should be able to get heavy as well. Going for trying to look for some damage before take it, and then he's taking a rail, and Dan's actually railable still. He's going to have to be careful trying to defend this mega. And good read, but doesn't get any spam damage, and he dies just before the mega, and that's really good for FraZe. Yeah, Dan just missed everything and then wasn't even able to pick up mega before he died.
Yeah, and that's big for FraZe now, because that also leaves him still with inject up. Good rail, keeps down low, and a second shot there, and shotty out, I like it. And missed rail, inject comes out again, keep that stack up. That machine gun, it does a lot of damage, and it's surprisingly how much it does, and especially when you got no armor, your stack just melts away. Missed rails again from FraZe, and here comes the rockets. There we go, finally the jump had one hit. He's got machine gun this time. Taking this fight and swapping to rail for the final shot. Little overkill, but Dan actually stole that mega, and I think FraZe now realizes that this no longer coming up. But with that inject being up momentarily, he's got that pocket mega pretty much sitting with him.
But Dan is able to get heavy, and with FraZe over here, this should be Dan's mega. And FraZe looking to play pass back, 4 frags in 3 minutes. It is a big map that you can defend on, but with that slash, 4 frags is easily possible. We see the inject used, Dan just trying to get in here. Good damage from both players. Both players, they miss their rockets, but Dan able to finish up. But
FraZe is going to be aware how low Dan is here, and Dan can't really go in to fight this. And I say that, but he's actually just pushing straight in, and he steals it and hits a rail, which just means that he probably rightfully had no right being there. But look what he's done by stealing that item. He's now got both mega and heavy. Huge stack. FraZe has got nothing, and he's just connecting with all the damage. And bringing this back now. 2 frags.
Suddenly 2 frags, 2 minutes, much more doable than 4 and 3.
Yeah, and FraZe just dropping in here. He used that inject, I believe, to get that stack up. Great damage from FraZe, but
FraZe might try and push in here even.
He's only got the starting shot.
It's not enough. A dead so low, but he does survive.
So in the same situation again. He pushes in with the starting shot, and there's enough stack there for Dan to stay above, survive that, and this time Dan's not low. Look how quickly now we're 10-9 in favor of Dan.
And that was just too aggressive from FraZe.
So that first one, I definitely understand why he went for that. He knew how low Dan was, but having to push in close is the range where Dan's got all the weaponry. He's got the super shotty. He's got LG.
Dan's hit a couple shots, and he has to be careful. Like FraZe could just push in, but with this mega, Dan becomes a lot safer. And yeah, FraZe has rail now, but Dan just trying to deal that defensive damage, then backing off. And Dan doesn't have to fight for every major item. He's got the speed advantage over FraZe, and he can sort of
point
just
now where
back
Dan
off.
doesn't really need to fight at all, right? He knows where he's heard FraZe on the other side of the map. That means it's a free heavy for him. And look at that, we've got 40 seconds left. And FraZe has got to get 2 kills now. This is pretty much it. This is the final set of items almost.
Yeah.
FraZe getting that mega. He will have the inject. There'll be no trail for the next few seconds, but by the time this fight starts, caught out. Great defensive rockets, but there goes FraZe. He actually gets the shots.
20 seconds left.
20 seconds.
Dan,
If he catches Dan out here, he'll have heard the sliding. He knows where Dan is. Great rail. 15 seconds left. Dan, he's got to run. Great use of the trail. Prevents FraZe from being able to push on him. And he sees him. And
that
FraZe
gives Dan information on where FraZe is. Dan just running. FraZe too slow, and Dan takes it by 1 frag.
Yeah, the speed of the slash FraZe just wasn't able to keep up. Great trail to prevent FraZe from being able to chase him down there.
But yeah. But 8 minutes in, that was FraZe's map. 7 minutes in, he had 3 minutes left. Had to defend 4 frags and wasn't able to kill Dan, and he just tried to keep going in. He got Dan low, and thought he could get him the next time, but it just ended up costing him so many frags in a row. And yeah, Dan was able to keep that frag lead he got gifted essentially, and took the map. Well played. And yeah. And we actually see 55% rail out of FraZe and only 38% out of Dan, but nonetheless Dan comes
Dan's
out on
rail though in the second half of that map really picked up. It was quiet in the early half, but that second half he was able to really keep FraZe down, keep that stack at bay and not allow him to push in as close, just because he wouldn't be able to take those big fights. But now we're moving on to back on a FraZe's pick, but this is now match point. Right? If Dan can take this, he'll be moving on to the grand final from the winners bracket, and then FraZe's got to have a massive fight to get back up there and try and take back, or sorry, try and retain the title of Division 1 champion. So Dan in a really good spot right now. We see again the matchup, the BJ versus the Death Knight. And yeah, we do see now a bit of a different dynamic, right? With no rail on this map. Like, who do we think that? Like, who does that favor? Is that something that goes in FraZe's favor right now? Or is that Dan's favor? Like, you saw how good both of them were with it.
If this was the first map, or the second map of the series after Awoken, I'd say it favors FraZe. But after that match, definitely FraZe had the upper hand on the rail. So it, I think, goes either player's way here. Yeah.
I think again, this might boil down to how we saw the sort of steej and cammma go, where Dan on the Death Knight is going to have to be a little bit careful of this duel coming out. Let's start on FraZe because it's his. He's the one. He's got to make a play here.
I definitely think.
The dual wield, right? This could be make or break for him. See how Dan plays around it. Anyway, FraZe getting this mega spawn and opting to go for that armor first, which is a bit interesting. You don't normally see that, which means they won't have that confrontation by the rockets, which honestly I don't hate because
that becomes a really random fight.
That's pretty much just a 50-50 almost in that situation. And wow, Dan coming out behind with the machine gun, huge amount of damage, and FraZe trying to return.
And yeah, even if he gets more damage here, Dan can just back off to that nail armor, but amazing rocket. Both players low.
Still wants to aggress here. Getting a mega and Jewel coming out. Here we go, trying to scare Dan off his item, and he actually just drops straight onto it, and the super shotty does a little bit more than the starting shotty.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what that came down to, the extra damage from the super shotty.
And that was just a lot of damage, but Dan's stuck here. He's not healthy.
This should be FraZe's kill, right? He can just delay here. Dan, 1 or 2 more bullets, but Dan is getting a huge amount of damage off. There we go.
Yeah.
Finally connecting. And FraZe
is going to be able to get the small armor. Yeah. But he's actually made sure to try and secure LG here first, giving Dan heavy if he notices. Yep.
Which is also a fine play, which is a good play here, right? Because LG is such a crucial weapon on this map. We're going to see an engagement here. Both players exchanging directs.
And Dan's got a slightly more stack after that. They're pretty even. As long as Dan gets a health bubble, they have the slight advantage, but dual wield comes out. Should be... Wow, I was expecting that to be FraZe's frag, but Dan just hitting a nice
especially
rocket.
after that whiff flame strike as well. Wasn't able to connect. Didn't really zone FraZe off there. He could have kept fighting in the exact way he was, but LG from damage. Sorry, the rockets from Dan is really good. And FraZe here without LG or machine guns. Gonna have to be really careful in what fights he takes here. Tries to push in. What a mini and the second one from FraZe! He is just hitting crazy shots with his rockets, and this is why he says he has the best rockets in Australia. And I'm almost believing him right now. If he keeps doing that, what a shot! And now he's going to push in aggressively with this. Julio comes out. Danny sent absolutely flying. And the fight over the heavy does actually go in Dan's favor, swapping around with the shotgun.
And yeah,
Julio OG not quite enough.
Wow, that was an insane fight. I was not expecting the shotgun to kill there. And Dan doesn't have much ammo, but it's a great rocket. It actually knocks FraZe away, and both players so low. Mega's Vat spawned, 2 HP. Dan able to survive.
I hate to say it, Shrulez, but I think it came down again to that starting shotty. Oh, yeah, machine gun in that range, and Dan with the super shotty. The great direct there from and the starting shotty again. It's cost him another frag. And Dan is so low. Here we go. Yeah, he will clear it up. That's fine. He gets it, but finally getting the machine gun in the arsenal. Such a pivotal weapon, and now coming out from Dan. The machine gun's better.
Oh, the flame strike is big.
And that's actually Dan. He's forced FraZe off of it. Jewel coming out. I don't mind this Jewel at all. Actually, try and push Dan away, but Dan he's just aggressive.
Dan actually left that Mega up, just trying to secure heavy, and FraZe is going to pick that up. And FraZe is actually a bit better off stack-wise after that frag. On some great MG to start, and Dan in a bit of trouble.
The rockets from Dan are really good right now, but the LG is better.
Yeah.
Hitting 100% and clearing that up. And FraZe, well, he's not healthy here, and good shot on Dan.
Oh, another great
strike comes out, and that's gonna be it. There's nothing that FraZe can do here. He just has to stay there, try and deal as much damage as he can, but he knows that that's a frag left in. He will get heavy here, and Jewel available if he wants, and he does go for it. He dodges straight into that rocket, and yeah, a little shake there. You know he's pissed off about that. He saw it coming. Great tri-bolt though, and a little bit more. Maybe it's gonna be enough to push Dan back.
And Dan just pushing in. Great LG from Dan there as he gets the frag.
Yeah, to be able to get that damage while you're being flung around by a tri-bolt, that's really hard to do. So well done to Dan. And patient rockets here from FraZe.
Oh, nice rockets from Dan, 90 damage.
Yeah.
And FraZe just jumping across with LG against the LG, and that's going to cost him a frag. And yeah, Dan's been looking great the last few minutes. Up 9-4, we saw a very sort of back and forth start like Awoken, and Dan's just pulled ahead. Great rocket from the dual wield out, and he gets the frag.
Beautifully well played there, and
yeah.
There's still going to be no items left for a little while here, so there's still going to be a fight. Yeah, another fight before this next item. And because of the kill there, the LG was sitting there. Oh, Dan's LG was a little bit shaky there at the end, but was enough to get the kill. And FraZe spawning on heavy will mean that he's actually going to have the advantage here, stack-wise, but not weapon-wise. And Dan, yeah, he's going to try and abuse that, right? This is a really hard situation for FraZe to push in. Tries to go up with shotgun, but Dan, playing this perfectly, staying exactly distance where that shotgun's not very useful.
Yeah, FraZe is trying to get Dan to come closer, baiting with tri-bolt, and then kill him with shotgun when he gets close, but Dan played that range perfectly. But FraZe trying to pick up this Mega, he's so low, and when he gets his shotgun off, Dan instantly gets Mega.
Oh wow, the rockets through the grate down the bottom. I direct, and just after you picked up heavy as well.
Yeah, and we hear Dan will hear the dual wield, and he's just happy to leave.
Yeah, doesn't need to fight. This actually sees him looking the wrong way, gets a little bit of LG, and Flame Strike comes out again. Flame Strike so far has been fantastic from Dan.
Yeah.
Pushing FraZe off these items, and yeah, FraZe was forced to run back there to go pick up those 225s. Otherwise, he was just going to burn to death. Not that it mattered in the end. With Dan still taking that frag, and 13-5. What's going on here, Shrulez?
Yeah, Dan's just kicked up another gear. He's been playing great.
I saw someone in chat saying whether he was QuakeCon ready. I think this answers the question. I think he definitely is QuakeCon ready. He's going to play like this.
Yeah.
And now we've got 3.5 minutes to go. Like, is there a world where FraZe takes this back and wins it? Do we get on map 4?
I mean, it's pretty unlikely. FraZe would have to play perfectly, and Dan would have to make a hell of a lot of mistakes.
And we're
But
seeing
we
Dan
have
now
seen a
slow this
lot
down a
of
bit.
FraZe.
Look at this.
Yeah.
He's not taking any fights now that he doesn't have to. Oh, did you see his leg? He does. FraZe trying to drop down with the duel. I like the flame strikes. As soon as it comes in, he doesn't need to fight that anymore. Chuck the flame strike down. Does actually run into him here by the armor, and the LG will be enough. Doing up. Just wants machine gun damage now.
Defensively great as he gets that frag. I mean, even though FraZe gets heavy here, Dan's just sort of fine to just get a bit of stack. He's gonna leave, he's gonna avoid fights, and he doesn't need to win the next fight. He just needs to make it last long enough that FraZe can't push in more. And wow, amazing flame strike, and he gets that frag.
Like, all 3 orbs from the flame strike.
Yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't matter. Like, FraZe can probably refrag this. Yeah, he's just gonna walk off here. But again, it doesn't matter at this point now. It's game over. There's 10 minutes. Sorry, 10 frags to go, and he's actually managed to sneak back through and steal Mega there.
Yeah.
Just the defensive play so far. I've been really impressed with how Dan's used this flame strike in all of these situations. There's so many situations where FraZe just pushes in, jeweled LG out, and it looks so grim. And then all of a sudden, this one flame strike, all 3 connect, blocks the pathway. There's 100 damage immediately gone, and it's. Then FraZe is like, well, what do I do now? He's got to just leave.
And yeah, we've seen a couple of successful dual wields, but not too many. But the flame strikes have just been huge. Dan definitely playing the champ better than FraZe.
And I know this isn't going to win me any favor with FraZe and cammma. I'm going to have to say it again. The starting shotgun just hasn't worked for him. There's been so many situations in the last couple of maps where the machine gun, great rocket from FraZe, followed up with the HMG. And even here, he's got to be careful. Not stacked. Nails flying out. Good rocket, though.
Stopwatch.
Yeah, a few situations where I think just having that starting machine gun would have worked $1 million there. Flame strike coming out, pushing back.
Yeah.
FraZe actually opts to go into it. Takes a bit of damage, but he knows how low he's got down. Good machine gun too.
Just there hasn't been enough time for quite a while now. Yeah. I mean, FraZe definitely hasn't looked bad this series.
Oh, not at all, no.
Just, yeah. It's just Dan's look better. We've seen
Like,
some...
when we go to this lower... So it's going to be FraZe versus steej now in our lower bracket match, and... Like, that could still go either. Like, steej was looking fantastic, but that just, like... This could go 50-50 again. If FraZe keeps playing really well, we might see a rematch of this, and... Really good LG. Flame strike again from Dan, and...
Yeah.
I think now it's just a chance for FraZe to sort of think about, yeah, next matchup. How does he play against steej? What's you know, I'm sure he was watching the matches before. But I'm sure he's conversed with his brother too about how the games went and you know what steej was doing. So trying to get some of the insider information.
Yeah. I mean.
And there we have it. GG's 3-0. In Dan's favor. I was not going to pick that. I would never pick that.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen.
I thought those two would have gone
matches
potentially even 5 maps.
I think the last 2 matches they played, so this QuakeCon and this AQL, it went to a 2-1, and the previous season, I believe even though FraZe wanted, he didn't take it, and Dan still got a map. And in the APAC qualifier, FraZe got a map as well, but this was a pretty dominant showing from Dan, all 3 maps, and while that blood curve was very close, CK and Awoken were just great from Dan. Didn't look like take it. But yeah, we've now got a completely different match on us.